Good morning, lovely listeners. I'm Janine, and this is my podcast, Quest for You. I just got up. It is one of those beautiful, overcast, cloudy, foggy, Northern California Sunday mornings. I love those mornings. It's quiet. Everyone is still asleep, except me. So that makes me a winner, right? But I'm here and I want to use this quiet time to talk to you and get my voice out to you and reach you and hopefully have a small impact on your life with this podcast. So thank you for tuning in. Episode 46. I want to talk about routine today. And I have suggested the need for a solid routine in several of my previous episodes, usually as it related to establishing a habit or accomplishing a goal or learning a new skill. But today, I want to dedicate the entire episode to just the topic of routines. I have found that a routine is the single most effective way to get stuff done. Anything you want to get done. Think about it. How do you ensure you brush your teeth every day? You know it needs to get done, so I'm sure you have set a time when you brush your teeth. And with time, I don't mean clock time, but brushing teeth usually follows or precedes something. Before you go to bed at night, and maybe after you shower in the morning, or maybe in the shower, something like that, right? But it kind of falls into a pattern that you do every day and you never miss it. As a child, you needed lots of reminders to brush your teeth. It's probably the single most hammered in regimen that we all have in common. And today, we don't need a reminder anymore. What about your routine of getting ready for work? And that's a ritual I could guess is the same every morning as well. Maybe you make coffee first thing in the morning, and then you have a grooming routine, a makeup routine, and I'm sure you have it all down and it's pretty much the same thing every morning. There are some interesting characteristics inherent in a routine. So first, let's define the word routine. A routine is a sequence of actions regularly followed or a fixed program. And I just gave you some examples of those. Or another definition of routine is a sequence in a performance, such as a dance or a comedy act, and we've heard it used like that before. But what fascinates me most about a routine is that once you have it down, it becomes almost automatic. You don't have to think about it anymore. And not doing it or changing it feels weird. It feels abnormal. This is the case especially for the things that you do daily or maybe even several times a day. You notice that the definition didn't include the number of times the pattern has to be performed to be considered a routine. I find that with things that I do daily, they become more of a ritual than activities I don't do daily. For example, I like to swim, and I swim about 2 times a week. And sometimes those days shift a little bit. And sometimes I even skip a day. And while I miss my swimming, it's not like forgetting to brush teeth or forgetting to put on deodorant. I can barely function when that happens. I think about it all day. I may even stop at the drugstore on the way to work to buy the toothbrush or buy deodorant. But I can miss a day of swimming and I'm okay. There is some speculation on how many times you need to repeat something in order for it to become a routine. I've heard many different numbers, 66 days, I've heard 21 days. Honestly, I think it really depends on the action you're trying to turn into a routine and how drastic of a change it is. For some people, it takes years to adopt a regular habit of exercising. For others, they just decide to go to the gym one day and they keep going and never quit. It depends on who you are and what comes easy to you and what is harder for you. It depends on your strengths. It also has to do with your inherent passions and your abilities. A person who's always been a creative type may not struggle starting an art class, versus someone who is more maybe analytical and is not really into art but wants to force themselves to be more artistic. It may take much longer for that person. Unfortunately, it's not only hard to establish a routine, it's also extremely looked down upon. Routines are not in these days, and they have never really been, even in my days. The term routine is associated with lack of freedom, strictness, and flexibility. People around you may consider you boring or rigid when you have to leave the party early to do your thing, or when you can't eat what everyone else eats. I know I have judged people like this many times in my life. When I thought freedom and spontaneous living was cool, having just freed myself of the chains of childhood, where I had to march to the drum of my parents' rules. Another routine is the last thing any young adult wants. I get it. The newfound independency begs to be discovered. Late nights, crazy schedules, doing whatever feels right at the moment, going with the flow. No rules, no schedules, just whatever. Experimentation. How far can I take my body and my mind and still get by with my duties? We all go through this, I think. And it works for a while. Mostly only in college. Usually there's not much asked of us other than showing up to class once in a while and doing well on a test or in completing a project. But as we get older, we discover that complete autonomy hinders us in our success. We may lose a job because we can't make it to work on time. Or we get into arguments with our loved ones for not contributing our share of the duties. So often, life forces us into routines. In order to perform well at our jobs and ascend the career ladder, we have to find some form of normality in our schedule, such as good sleep, relaxation, decent nutrition, organization, and prioritization. And then add a family into the mix, and we are forced even more into schedules and patterns because now we have responsibility for other people in our life. And this is where many people still are. Routines are forced upon them by the rigor of their daily lives. All the responsibilities that call on us every day seem to leave little room for freedom. And when we have some free time, we often blank out completely because we're tired and exhausted. But what about the things that we want to do? We've been dreaming of, or that spark our interests. How do we fit them in? Well, I discussed a few strategies on making time on previous episodes. But the boldest step you can take is to establish a routine. And yes, it's bold because it requires effort. That means applying the same drill to this activity of your choice as you do with brushing teeth and showing up to work or walking your dog. And the more frequently you do it, the easier it will become. Eventually it will be automatic. I won't get into the details on how to find the time in your day to make room. If you're interested, it was episode 29, so re-listen to that to get some inspiration on how to find some extra time in your day. I will give you an example for starting a routine from my life. I've been working on getting up early every morning. And believe it or not, my goal is 4 a.m. I used to get up at 6 and get ready for work and leave. And then I decided to do some yoga before starting my day, so I started getting up at 5:30. I found that 30 minutes extra was not enough time. Often after yoga I wanted to sit in stillness for a few extra minutes, but I could never manage to find the time. And so, out of my balancing and calming practice, I went right back into my previous routine of getting ready and rushing to work. That defeated the purpose, because the reason I started getting up earlier in the first place was to have some quiet time and ease into the day. So I started to set my alarm for 5 a.m. because I decided I needed a full extra hour for yoga, some meditation, and even some writing or reading time. But it was a struggle. The alarm would go off at 5, but I didn't set my foot on the ground until 5:10 or 5:15. And then I needed a drink of water, and needed to change to get ready for yoga. And by the time I was on the mat, it was sometimes almost 5:30. And then I tried 4:30 without much success until I got so frustrated with myself that now my alarm goes off at 4. And it's still a struggle. It's a struggle to get to bed early and to get up early. For a while, I was inclined to give in to my mind telling me that I'm just not made up for getting up early, that my circadian clock is set for 5 and that's it. My mind wanted to convince me that I have to accept it, until I realized it's just my mind talking. My body can adapt to anything. I just need to give it some time. And this is where I come back to what I said earlier. There's not a set number of days it takes to ingrain a new routine. It just takes time. Think of your diet. You can eat well and on point with a specific program for 90 days, and then you fly to France and you eat croissants and pastries for 2 weeks, and it may take you another year before you get back to your original diet. It takes time. The harder something is for you, the more frequently you should do it. I have found that when I allowed myself some extra time to sleep on weekends, then I started back from 0 on Monday mornings. So now my alarm goes off at 4 a.m. every day, even on weekends. Am I out of bed and on the mat every day by that time? No, I'm still working on it. But slowly my body is adjusting. I can tell I'm ready to get up at 4:30. It took months where I was in really deep sleep at that time. I felt like I had just gone to bed. And now I'm up. My body's adjusted. 4:30 seems to work. And that gives me enough time for yoga and meditation. But I want that extra half an hour for some writing, and eventually I will get there. For you, it may be the language you want to learn, or the website or blog you want to start, or the run you want to do every morning. Whatever it may be, if you find it hard to be consistent with it, just make it a daily thing. Develop a routine around it. Set aside time and do your thing during that time every day. And if you don't need to do it every day, then do something else with that time. It's more important to set the time aside than to do the thing that you want to do, because finding the time is the tougher of the two hurdles. So solve the time problem first. You see, I don't do yoga every single day. Some evenings when I did a really tough workout in the gym, my body may be sore and I don't feel like doing yoga, but I still get up. Maybe I go straight to writing when I feel inspired, or today I just started to sit down and started to record. Sometimes I meditate longer, or just make some tea and read. The important thing for me is to have the time for me. Once I overcome the battle with my mind on time, I then feel free enough to accomplish what I want. When you design and adhere to a routine, you will find what I found. Instead of rigor and inflexibility, you will discover freedom, increased productivity, and a path to fulfilling your true potential. In short, a routine will give you the following. It will give you results. Things will get done. Things you have to do and things you want to do. Thinking your way to your goals is what you do around New Year's Eve. But actually accomplishing your goals is what you do when you establish a routine around them. It removes the willpower and motivation from the equation. Wow, that rhymes. A routine will give you more time. Instead of being a victim to no time, you conquer time. You'll find more time in your day because the things that need to get done. Suddenly there's more time in your day because you think less and you do more. You're more organized and have a clear vision on your priorities. Getting up so early on weekends is so rewarding. I go to the farmer's market and sometimes I get there when it just opens. And I have all my groceries for the week done by the time most people just roll out of bed. And then I still have the entire day ahead of me to enjoy. It feels amazing. A routine also will help you become a better you. Establishing a routine is often hard. You saw my example. Yours may even be harder. Conquering your mind that tells you to stay in bed or have another drink is tough, no doubt. Remember, your mind will always look for the easy way out. It doesn't want to be stressed out or forced out of its comfort zone. That is why you have to build the routine, the habit, the procedure, so that there is no way out, so that there is No more room for excuses. The routine is your crutch. It's your toothbrush next to the sink. It's the gym bag that is ready next to your bed. The routine will carry you when you cannot carry yourself. And in doing so, you will become a stronger human being. You will find yourself saying no more often, but that's a good thing. It builds a strong character, good habits, resistance to adversity, and you master things that other people only dream of. And in doing so, you set an example for them of what's possible. So, design a routine around your dreams. Design a routine around your dreams. Make the time and go for it. Initially, it will be hard, and you will give up and you start over and over. But it's so rewarding once you get it down. And your friends will ask you, how did you do that? How did you lose all this weight? And when did you write this book? And how did you get so good at fill in the blanks? You answer, I worked on it every single day. It wasn't all that hard until I committed to doing it every day. So many people don't work on anything every single day except the duties they have to do. The rest of their time they are in some unconscious fog where the brain is turned off. Imagine the possibilities of getting something done that you have been dreaming of. Think about it. Imagine it, and now go for it. The best way to get it done is to start and design your day around it. And wow, I think I just recorded the longest episode to date, so I will let you go. Start your day and think of something you really would like to do. And if it's been really hard for you to get it done, then that's a sign that it requires a routine, that it requires a daily effort. So just start. Work on a routine, lay it out on paper, write it down, and good luck with it. Much love.